Fee, 5-4, nothing to a giant. Waited my turn, call it perfect time and trust the most high. Got the stars aligning, I was tapped in. I've been strategizing, dreams coming true. I've been fantasizing while you criticize. Pay attention to the signs, symbolize. Feel like a legend, they go idolized. Ayy, I'm a hero, wear my cape. Independent leader made a way. I'm the people's voice, your purple ray. Stuck to my pace, the turtle win the race. The trophies on trophies, views from the townscape. Change is great, freight, then I had to skate. God told me time to go elevate. Chosen child, I'm the champ now, not a featherweight.
At MP Coney Island, it's all about the chili and has been for nearly 100 years since we opened in 1923. We helped put Newcastle on the map as the hot dog capital of the world. Visit our store, place an order for pickup at mpconeyisland.com, delivery with DoorDash, or find the grocery store near you with our chili locator on our website. Want to own your own MP Coney Island? Now you can with our franchise system. At MP Coney Island, it's all about the chili.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Take a Bow, Episode 2, where we talk about theater, community theater, everything there is to talk about theater with actors, directors, lighting designers, stage crew. We're going to have everybody on. But today, I have a very special guest because it is my wife, KASSIE McConnell.
Hello.
KASSIE, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you, husband?
I'm great. We've had a pretty busy last week or so.
We have. Yes, we have.
KASSIE is 30 weeks pregnant today.
Yes.
With our third baby.
Yes, our third daughter. Yes.
3 girls. Lucky me. They definitely keep me in line, though. That's for sure.
That's true.
But,
yes.
If you don't know KASSIE has had a very extensive theater background from her start in high school in Bayonne, New Jersey.
Yes.
To
Call them out, Bayonne.
Lots of leading children's theater roles in Pittsburgh when she attended Point Park University.
Yes.
And also, currently she does, you can see some of her work at the Newcastle Playhouse. She'll be directing Southern Sirens coming up.
Yep. In
October.
Yes, October.
While we work around
18th through the 28th.
Having our third child.
Yeah. It's been really chill.
Yeah. So,
not busy at all.
So KASSIE, tell us a little bit about where you grew up and how you got into performing in musicals.
Sure. So I grew up in Bayonne, New Jersey. It's a little city, 3 miles long. It's about maybe 2 train rides into New York City. I grew up and I was pretty much constantly performing since I could talk, I would say, singing, dancing, all of that shebang. My dad, I remember, told me about an audition for The Wizard of Oz at our local high school, so I auditioned for that. And I was cast as the munchkin that said, "We thank you very sweetly for doing it so neatly." And I would like to say that's where it happened, and that's where I was bit, and rest is history, but it actually wasn't. I was a sports girl. Mm-hmm. I played baseball with the boys for a long time. And then I played softball. And then in high school, I started to do show choir and chamber choir, different things like that. And a choreographer actually came up to me and was like, "Hey, you should audition for musicals." And I was like, well, I didn't even know what a musical was. They said, "We're doing Singing in the Rain. You should audition." I said, okay.
And what grade was this?
This was a freshman in high school.
You're about 14.
Freshman year, so 14. And I needed a monologue and a song. So I remember going home, and I was really nervous about telling my mom that I wanted to take this journey with theater. And so my Uncle Joe, shout out Uncle Joe, helped me find a monologue online, and we went over it, and I think I sang song from Beaches, you gotta give a little, take a little, and let your poor heart break a little.
That's a good choice for Singing in the Rain.
So I sang that, and the director really liked me. I got, I think, in the ensemble or like a featured dancer or something, and then that was it.
That was it.
That was it.
So,
I knew.
So your little stint when you were a little kid in Wizard of Oz, like you liked it, but you
Liked it.
It wasn't like, oh, I got to keep doing this. It took till you were like in high school.
Yes. Yes.
And then from there, though, so you had an ensemble role, but then after that, it was quite a jump.
It was, yeah. I was a featured ensemble dancer, and I had a great time, and I kind of knew, like, that's, okay, this is really fun, but still really didn't know that you could do it for, like, a living, to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was something you can do. They were doing Cinderella, and I said, I'm going to audition for Cinderella, and my mom was like, for An Ugly Stepsister, right? And I was like, no, for Cinderella. She's like, you can't sing, blah, blah.
Her mom was just very, she tried more, I don't want to say realistic, but she didn't want you to ever get your hopes up.
For sure. She was Jersey mom through and through. She's like, there's always someone better. You could always work harder, which really helped me a lot, to be honest.
Yeah.
But so I auditioned for Cinderella as it was my summer of freshman year, and I got Cinderella.
Because your high school did summer shows.
Yes, we did summer shows. And
as well as spring shows.
Yeah, we usually did a fall straight show, and then a spring musical, and then a summer musical.
Summer.
And we would invite, like, the kids of the community to come and be
For the
involved
summer.
in the summer. Yeah. So I got Cinderella, and I was terrified, and I, like, went over all my lines, like, 5 different ways each line, all this kind of stuff. My opening night, my parents were, like, front row, and they were terrified, thinking that I was going to be really nervous, and I actually was not nervous at all.
Yeah.
It was just, like, at home and peace, like, the second I went on.
Go.
Ready to go, and
Was this Roger? This was Rogers.
Rogers
and
and Hammerstein's Cinderella,
And
yes.
it was a little, from what I remember, it was a little bit of a souped-up version of it.
Yeah, shout out Tim Craig. That was his choice. He wanted it to be like a rock version of Cinderella. But really, truthfully, he was the person who started my entire career in theater. Was Tim Craig
is
in
like
Bayonne High School.
like to you is Michael Cavalier.
Exactly.
Would be to me
Yep.
in high school and starting.
Yes. And he was very
love and
tough on
career.
me. Extremely tough on me. But
He was, huh?
he was tough, especially as a freshman. But
Was he easier on some of the other people, and you were like, "Hey, where's my compliments?"
exactly, yeah. And then he, eventually was like, well, I know you can do it, and that's why I'm pushing you. And I see that now, like, as a teacher myself, right? Or a parent. We push the people that we know have potential. So,
And
yeah.
that are capable, have the range to, adjust. And,
Exactly.
That's
And can take
that's a
it.
director's dream is to
Exactly.
give good notes like that. Even if sometimes they come off to you at the time a little bit harsh.
Yes.
Or just like, or like,
Absolutely.
yeah, right.
Yeah. But it was a great experience, and then from there it was kind of like, this was my life, but even after getting cast as Cinderella, I still didn't know, like, you could do it for, like, a living,
Yeah. Well, you were what, only in 10th grade or?
Yeah, well, and I was I was in my sophomore year of high school, and when he...
But you lived near Broadway.
We
You still
did.
didn't- I mean,
That's true. No, we did.
you were literally, you went to Broadway shows.
A
that
ton. I was very lucky to grow up super close to the city, and like I said, my Uncle Joe would take me a lot into the
It's
city.
2 train rides.
Two
You take
train
the
rides,
path,
yeah.
And
Well,
then you,
yeah,
wait, correct me
what's
if
it
I'm
called?
wrong. 'Cause
The light rail,
The light rail.
and then the NJ path, yeah,
And then the path.
and then the subway.
And then the subway.
So it's
3 trains?
Yeah, about.
Okay, I can't remember. It's been a few years. Frozen, I think,
Yeah.
was the last time
Yeah.
we did that from Bayonne.
But I was very lucky, very, very, very blessed to grow up so close and being able to see tons of theater growing up. Yeah. So that was big, but I still, like, didn't put two and two together that I could be one of those people.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it didn't click.
It didn't click, and I don't think it clicked to any of us really until like my sophomore year of high school, and then things started to get like a little more like, wow, you might actually be good at this.
And why was that? What role did you play your sophomore year?
Oh, so
cherish.
I do cherish it. It's still one of my favorite roles ever. I was cast as Lucy in You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown at Bayonne High School. We were a 6-person cast, very small, very tight-knit. We were directed by Mr. Tim Craig and music directed by Broadway famous icon, music director Meg Zervoulis.
So you got to work with someone that's actually one of the top music directors in the business. I mean, she worked on, Meg Zervoulis worked on Carousel, right? I believe.
She worked on Cagney. She worked on
James
The
Cagney,
Prom.
Yeah. The Prom, sorry, maybe not.
Tons of other stuff. She was like, a pillar in Paper Mill for years.
Right.
So to have her, she was my vocal coach, which is crazy
She's like
to
a
even
prodigy,
think about.
really.
Yeah,
She's
she's a
really,
prodigy. And to even like think about that, I was lucky enough that she was my vocal coach, and that she directed my shows and played in the pit for them, conducted them.
So you got to work with
It's a
the
dream
best
come true.
in your rookie
Yes.
time, in
Yes.
your first experiences, your
Yeah.
amateur, high school experience. So when you, by the way, you can still see KASSIE in Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
Her Uncle Joe filmed a lot of the production and there's clips on YouTube, and Charlie Brown has a huge following. Like anything you do, Charlie Brown gets hit. She has like some videos that have like 50,000 views.
Yeah.
I mean it's pretty impressive.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but it's wild.
But that was really your breakout role, right?
Yeah, for sure. It was, I loved it so much, and it was amazing. And I actually didn't know at the time what the Paper Mill Playhouse Awards were. I guess you would attribute them to like a Mancini Award around here, except Mancini is local. Paper Mill is the entire state of New Jersey.
Yeah, Mancini's a little more like Western PA,
Yes.
right? I would think. Yeah, Paper Mill would be, they only nominated everybody from...
Five women.
5 women for
From the entire state
Best
of New
Leading
Jersey.
Actress and 5 women for Best
Supporting.
from the entire state of New Jersey.
Yes, yeah. So when I was informed by Mr. Craig that I was nominated for Best Supporting Actress for Lucy as a fresh 16-year-old,
Was that
maybe
featured
not
actor,
even.
or was that considered a lead?
Supporting.
Supporting, yeah, right.
Supporting, Best Supporting Actress. So that was incredible, and I ended up going, getting to go to Paper Mill Playhouse and, got to see my name. It was almost like the high school Tony Awards, pretty much,
for sure. Especially
and,
at the Paper Mill. I mean, Paper Mill's where a ton of, like, Newsies started there.
Yeah.
The first production of
Great
Children of
Gatsby.
Eden was there, Great Gatsby.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's the real deal,
yeah,
and it was kind of baffling, and humbling, and I was like, okay, and I didn't win, but the experience was amazing, and I think it was after that we were all kind of like, wait a second, like, am I good at this?
Yeah,
and it's like people will ask you even today, like, are you a good singer? And you're like, I guess. I mean, so I
think,
so we were kind of like, well, maybe we should start considering this as a career path, or let's go to college for it and try to get some scholarships. So I started training elsewhere, like in high school. Yeah, like I would take workshops, performing arts workshops in different places in New York. And
who was the one guy that ran one of your workshops? What was his name?
Oh, Norm Lewis.
Norm Lewis, yeah.
Wait, that's a funny story, though, because so I was accepted into a Broadway Dance Center workshop, thinking that it was like musical theater, acting, and dance, but it was like just dance.
Yeah, and you're like...
So when I got there, I was like, I'm a mover, not a dancer.
But it's not like, you're not like...
But it was like rough, they were, people were really dancing, and I was like kind of going home crying every day, and my mom was like, you got to stick it out. And Norm Lewis came to a rehearsal once, and he was like, he saw me suffering, I guess, in the corner, and he was like, I just want to let you know, like, I'm not a dancer either. Like, and that's okay. Like, you can
Yeah.
just smile. You'll be okay. Like, I played a few parts here and there. Like,
Yeah, he's had
okay.
he's had a
no big deal.
few roles,
Yeah.
you know.
So, and that meant a lot to me, and I did stick it out, but it was rough. But
It's nice to get encouragement from a guy like Norm Lewis.
yeah,
one of
just real
Broadway's
casual.
Finest, I mean, probably royalty, Broadway royal, I would consider him.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that was like my big kind of pivot in the let's take this serious.
Mm-hmm.
And then my junior year, we did Beating the Beast.
Mm-hmm.
No paper mill nom that year. But my senior year, I did Anything Goes, and I was nominated for Best Leading Actress as Reno Sweeney.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had the amazing opportunity to perform on the paper mill stage
Because it was leading actress.
because it was leading actress, yep, who got to do a medley. And that was amazing. And I did not win, but I still got a full scholarship to the camp that summer. So I got to train under everyone from paper mill. And that was amazing.
And that was senior year, right?
That was my senior year, yeah. And throughout my senior year, I started to audition for some colleges, different things like that. And we didn't get a chance to go to many. It's expensive.
Yeah, and
Honestly.
and also like you guys, like, I mean, you're from Bayonne, like Bayonne's like in New York, like Bayonne's like really like all you kind of knew.
Oh, for
at that time,
sure, for sure. And
And the shore, like you knew New Jersey.
and the shore,
Yeah,
the
and
shore, yeah, the Jersey Shore, and New York. But yeah, but you're right. So I really, my mom was like, hey, we don't really have like, the funds to go to 10 different schools. Let's pick, 3 or 4 that you really like, and let's audition.
and there's tons of schools where you're from, but you wanted to go somewhere, and Uncle Joe kind of encouraged you, right?
Yes, well, because of the Steelers, Uncle Joe. He knew. He was like, go to Pittsburgh. He's a big Steelers fan. But yes, so we thought it would be in my best interest to leave Bayonne. Not that it didn't give me a great life and a foundation, but I needed a way. I needed pushed. I was very dependent on my family and my mom and things like that. So me getting away 6 hours, even if it was only 6 hours and an hour plane ride, was the best thing that I could have done. I grew up a lot doing that.
Yeah.
So, so I did. I ended up auditioning for Point Park University in Pittsburgh. And my Uncle Joe and my mom, we drove the 6 hours here, or an hour from where we are. And it was a snowstorm, and I auditioned, and it was crazy because when I was doing my audition, the head of musical theater was like, "Are you from Bayonne, New Jersey?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, I'm from like Bayonne, or I went to school there or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Because
You always meet random people from Bayonne, so that was like kind of fate in a sense.
That was fate. And he started singing the Bayonne fight song, like, Bayonne comes marching down.
Oh wow, so he was
And he was like,
yeah,
and I didn't know it, and he was like, you better learn it the next time I see you. And then I was like, God rest his soul, Jack Allison.
Jack Allison.
He passed a few years ago, but yeah, he was, the reason why I got into Point Park with a full scholarship, not full, but full artistic scholarship. And he kind of like guided me my entire first year there.
Yeah.
So I had a little bit of Bayonne.
Yeah, it wasn't easy, right? At first,
No, it was not easy. Not at all.
No,
It was very hard at first.
Right. So, but in your freshman year, correct me if I'm wrong, you did pick up your first professional gig.
I did.
And what was that?
So it was, okay.
When you know the person you're interviewing
Yeah.
really well.
You're like,
I just did my research.
So, yeah. Wow. Yeah, so you're correct. So when you're a freshman in Point Park, they do not let you audition for shows. So you have to
Okay.
do stage crew and you have to do tech for a year, which is amazing
Right,
because
why
you
make,
should.
But why make any money when you're broke, you know?
But yeah, but also
Makes
like
so much sense.
it gives you a really big respect for like crew and tech and all that kind of
Sure,
stuff.
right,
Like it
right.
really helped like that big time. But we, in the same sense, we couldn't audition for the conservatory shows. We could go elsewhere. So I had seen
Oh, so you could audition for
other
show-
shows.
Okay.
Yes,
I
we
was
weren't
gonna
allowed
say,
to
wait,
audition
then
for
you- did you-
conservatory
I was
shows
like, did
our
you break the-
freshman year.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So outside shows we were allowed to, and because of that, I saw
Sorry, then.
Children's Museum of Pittsburgh was doing Dora the Explorer live. And I was like,
This is what, 2011? 2010, 2011?
yeah, like, yeah, to that, yeah, it had to be.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have to do this, because I have a history of playing cartoon characters
Yeah.
pretty well
Yeah.
with Lucy.
Yes.
So I dove right in. I started studying Dora, hola amigos, and all that stuff. And I went to the audition for Jason Cole, and I was the literal last audition of the day. And I did it, and he was like, great.
Jason called this, that's actually foreshadowing.
Yes, it is
for what's yet
foreshadowing
to
for our
come.
future, yeah. He's also amazing, and Keisha Lalama choreographed that production of Dora,
yeah.
who's also incredibly amazing. So I was the last audition. He was like, great job, see you later. Kind of walked out like, okay. Got to the callbacks, did the callback, danced like crazy, and then was offered the role. I remember Point Park University had this like massive fire drill in the middle of the night. It was like 2 a.m. We're all outside, and I get the email offering me Dora. And it was my first professional show. It was like a 3-month run.
Yeah.
I mean,
at the Children's Museum.
Children's Museum, it was like 5 shows a week. It was huge. I mean, we were on billboards. Like,
Yeah.
it was a lot.
It was like the first Dora live production in the greater
yes,
area
yeah,
at the time.
yeah. Like the creator, like
And Dora was huge back then.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
that was a big deal.
So it was amazing. I could not believe it, that I had the opportunity. And I love children. Obviously, we have 2 of our own and 1 on the way. But I love performing for children, and I think they're my favorite audience. They're the most honest, for sure.
Yeah, if you can make a kid laugh, it feels pretty good because
Oh,
you know
yeah.
that you did something like silly and like
Yes.
that, because it can be hard to make a kid laugh
Yes, and it's hard to be. You were like,
and gain their attention even at times.
yeah, I was like a literal rock star in their eyes, like when I
you were
came
Dora.
out, it was like, it was like a rage,
Yeah.
and so after the show, I would get in trouble because I would stay after and talk to like each kid individually, and they'd be like, "Let's go," and I'd be like, "No, I gotta,
Yeah.
talk to every single kid." But
Did you have to sign your name as Dora?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
tons of presents, bracelets. It was amazing. It was the best. So
And you met quite a few actors on that as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
And
yes.
is that when you first met Nick?
Yes, that's when
Mitchell?
we first met Nick Mitchell. Nick Mitchell was our best man at our
Yes,
wedding.
Nick is still, I mean, he's doing very well.
Yeah,
he
I'm
just
so
played,
proud of him.
Nick just played, I'm going to have him on here eventually. He
Yes.
just played Roy Cohen in Angels in America. I got to
Yes.
see it, and oh my God, that role is perfect for him.
He's amazing,
Roy
and
Cohen's
he-
been played by Al Pacino, Dustin Hoffman, and
Yeah.
Nathan Lane, who just won the Tony, and now Nick Mitchell. And honestly, I
Just-
didn't see those other ones, but I could guarantee he was just as good, if not better.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. Yeah, he was my sound person for Dora. Yeah, and that's how we met.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nick's done everything pretty much.
Yeah.
And
I didn't think he just posted Evil Dead auditions are coming up again. He
yeah.
does
So
that
Nick
every
Mitchell
year.
directs Evil Dead the musical
Yeah.
for PMT. And they do it. It's probably their
I think
fourth
it's
year.
like their yearly, there's a
Yeah.
yearly thing, right?
Yeah. So it's a nice thing for him.
Yeah.
To do over and over, every Halloween season. There's that splash zone. So people, it definitely brings more than just the theater crowd. It brings people that like the movie Evil Dead.
Oh, yeah, for
so
sure.
they get to
Yeah.
experience the live version of a satirical version
Yes.
of the horror
Yes.
film and franchise. So from there, that would have been. So in between then, like you what shows did you do with Point Park?
So
When
I
you were
did
done
Dora.
doing the lighting and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I did Dora, and then I went right into Pinkalicious, which is another massive children's
And that was at Little Lake.
Little Lake Theater, yeah, which is like all revamped,
Mm-hmm.
thanks to, is it Patrick
Cannon.
Patrick Cannon, yeah.
It's always
all
been
we
a great theater.
I love, yeah, but
we haven't
it's
been,
like,
but Patrick Cannon's doing a great job.
yeah, revamped it all. So back then, I did Pinkalicious there, which was like, it was crazy going from like one extreme character to like another extreme book character that kids were like,
Did they respond just as well to Pinkalicious as they did to Dora, or is it a little different?
It was a little different, I would say. It's kind of like A-list versus B-list celebrity a little bit, but it was still like, it was a lot of fun. So I did that, and then I was actually, my first show at Point Park was M33. So it was a brand new show, conceptualized by Broadway's Peter Gregus and Broadway's Tomei Cousin.
So Peter Gregus played, like, I think for the entire Broadway run.
Pretty much.
Was, what's
Oh
his
my
name?
gosh, don't tell me
I
now.
know.
I'm like, oh.
The producer.
Yes, in Jersey Boys.
In Jersey Boys.
I can't think
I
of
know,
the
I
name
felt
either.
terrible. Yeah. If somebody knows it,
Put
it in the comments. The producer from Jersey Boys.
Yes.
He said there's Mercury and Taurus.
Yes.
He's always
Yes.
doing the astrological signs and everything like that. And it's impressive. I mean, he made a nice paycheck for years doing that.
Man, yeah.
But he took a break
Took a break.
with Tomei, who's also
Tomei Cousin,
a
who's
big time.
Big Broadway star. Huge. Was on Sesame Street. He's the real deal.
Worked with just about
Worked with
everybody
everyone,
you can think of.
So they conceptualized the show about the marathons of the 1930s.
Paul Crew.
Paul Crew. There we go. Paul
He played
Crew.
Paul
That's
Crew in
it.
Jersey
Yes.
Boys. Yes.
So the musical M33 was a concept they came up with. It was music directed by Douglas Levine, who's also a huge Pittsburgh icon. And it was about the marathons in the Great Depression. Like, people would have to dance till, like,
All night.
all hours a day to win money, to win food, things like that. And it was also kind of twisted into, like, the Baby June, Mama Rose type story as well.
That kind of was a side story.
Yeah, and intertwined in it. And so I was cast as Ida Cummings. She was a mute. And I made the most of it, I'll tell you. I was like,
if anybody could play a mute.
So I loved it, and I had a great time. And it was a lot of dancing. I was icing my back and my feet constantly because obviously Tomei's like a dancing king. So I did that, yeah.
And
That
you're
was my
always
first
giving
show.
it your all, so like it's
Exactly.
you're not taking
I'm not the
time
best
off,
dancer, but
you're gonna
trying.
You're gonna strut,
you know. And then then my junior year when I came back, I'd actually had an injury. I herniated a disc in my back that kind of kept me like off my feet for a few months. When I came back to audition for the producers at Point Park, and Tomei was directing that as well. And he was really kind because I couldn't dance for the call. But, I still...
He knew you.
Yeah, he knew me from M33. And I went in and I was... So I got the best track in the whole show, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Which is the bag lady, and then the Not You Girl, which is like, he
Yes.
goes down the line and he's like, I see you, not you.
Yeah.
So that one, and then I was the lesbian lighting designer, Shirley. So that was the best track ever.
Yeah. You got to have a lot of fun.
It was so much fun.
And
I
a
would play that.
really good cast.
Oh my God,
very
the
good
best
college
cast. Mandy Russick, Tom
Yes.
Driscoll. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was Connor. Yeah, Ellis. Yeah, it was a great show.
Yeah. I got to see it on because I didn't know her yet. So
Yeah,
we
video.
we have not yet met in
Right.
this year, or was it 2013 or something like that? 12.
Yeah, I think I was a junior.
Yeah. So.
So I
But
did that.
yeah, I saw the DVD.
Yeah. Oh,
Film
Lauren
was
Cadell
good.
too. I loved her. She helped. She was our. We did Susan Stroman choreography, but she was like our person who taught us it and was like, "This is how you're supposed to
Adapted
do
it.
it." Yeah, she was amazing. So, and we're still
Susan
friends today.
Stroman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Is that the one? That's the one we just saw singing at the Sondheim show, right? Was that her?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
But,
We get a lot of stuff. We do a lot of jumbling.
so you were doing some pretty heavy character roles in
very,
college.
very, yes.
Whereas, like in the children's scene, you were like the it girl because you were able to play kids.
Yeah.
I mean, you looked like you were 10 when you were that. I mean, you always came off young.
Yes,
So,
yes.
So that was, yeah.
Hope it lasts. But yeah, you're correct. And then I did a little more children's theater with Point Park. I did like Honk Junior, and I did like Wind in the Willows.
Wind in the Willows, yeah.
Yeah. And then when I graduated, I had like a period of time where I was like, I didn't know if I wanted to like continue to do theater. It was really like a hard transition point for me.
Why is that?
Well, as much as I loved Point Park, it was very competitive. It could get really ugly, the theater.
It's easy to get jaded.
You know, it's easy to get jaded, yeah.
You experienced
I
stuff
experienced some stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that was like, that was a pretty prime time for theater. I
It
think.
was.
It was very competitive.
It was very
Not to say that
competitive.
it's not all ever competitive, but back at that point, I mean, everybody was there. I feel like.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
You're going up against everybody.
Yes.
I mean,
And it was not the 2024 now, like where people were, you know, given, you know, the benefit of the doubt because of like their weight or the way they looked. It was very type driven. It was very like, you don't fit this mold, you're out.
Yeah.
No matter how good you can
gain
sing.
15 pounds or
Lose 15. That was like
literally,
my
that's
big
what you were
motto.
told.
That's what I was told, yeah. So it was rough, and I had this
That
period of
wouldn't fly
time.
today. If somebody
No,
said that,
no.
they would be
Gosh,
canceled,
no.
you know, for
Exactly.
saying that. 'Cause it's
So, but that was the truth. That's what I was told in a senior meeting, which is sad. But it kind of like,
I've heard this before, so I'm laughing.
yeah, no, I know. You gotta laugh. But so I did go through a brief period of time where I was like, I just don't know if it's worth it, to be honest. And then I saw an audition for the next Galileo at the Pittsburgh CLO. Now I would call it Gallery of Heroes because it's touring, but it was still CLO. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. I
The
was
CLO
like,
Gallery of
it was
Heroes.
still CLO. So
It was. I mean, you had to audition in the CLO building.
yes, so
Yeah.
I went in and I auditioned, and
Who was
it
it?
was Jason Cole was
Who?
directing it, who directed me in Dora the Explorer. So
Did you know that? I mean,
I did know that.
Yeah.
Yes, I did know that. So I went to the audition. I was terrified. I sang, and Joseph Domensic, who I adore, wrote the music and
yeah.
wrote the show.
It's wonderful music.
It's so beautiful.
And this is educational.
Educational theater,
that
yeah.
we bring to
Yes.
different school districts.
Yes.
And perform sometimes. Oh,
Twice, 3 times a day sometimes. And we'll get more into that because
yeah,
that's where
sorry,
we,
I jumped a little bit there.
spoiler alert, that's where we met.
The next year.
The
yeah.
next year. But so I was given the opportunity to originate the role of Gabriella in the next Galileo.
So another lead role.
Another lead role
Which was
as
also- but
a
an
13-year-old.
So this was your like second original role that you
Original,
already got to play
yeah.
by the age of like 23.
Yeah, I didn't think of that, but yeah, you're right. Yeah,
It's pretty,
it's pretty cool.
So you originated 2 roles by that age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got to play it alongside Nick Mitchell,
Nick Mitchell.
who again comes back to the picture.
He
Missy
played
Moreno, he played Galileo.
Missy Moreno,
yes.
huge comedy,
Oh, amazing.
stand-up comic, sketch
Everything,
comic.
arcade comedy, yeah.
She was in Chicago. With,
Yeah. So she was in it.
Great singing
Jason
voice.
Shavers,
Jason
another
Shavers, another-
Pittsburgh legend. So it was a great, and Keisha choreographed that as well. So it was like it was like a homecoming kind of for me, but a huge humbling experience as well. I couldn't believe that. That was kind of re-sparked my passion for it, and I was like, okay, I can do this, you know?
Right.
It was my first gig out of college. I was like, here we go, you know? And it was the best experience ever. We got to record the original cast recording. It was amazing. I
Yeah, so-
loved it.
Yeah, and a very well done cast recording.
Yes, thanks to Billy Rossi.
Because it came out the year that we met, or they finished
Yeah.
it. And yeah, Billy Rossi, who did the sound, they mixed it. Mm-hmm. It sounds great.
Yes.
I would listen to it in the car by myself, even if you weren't there.
It's still to this day one of my favorite songs to sing. Is
The
the
Next
next Galileo.
Galileo.
Yeah, by far. Yeah, I love it.
And so how long, how long is usually like the run? Of
So the
Gallery
run
Heroes?
is like from, I would say, you're cast in like end of December, and then we start January, and we run through like the end of the school year.
So
like
basically, yeah.
May.
So you start basically after Christmas break.
Yeah.
So then you have a week to rehearse.
Yes.
the
Yes,
show.
I should have
It's-
mentioned that. It's very fast.
It's very
a week.
fast.
Yeah.
So you got to like learn your stuff quickly, and then you go on.
You go on tour.
You go on the tour, and you go all around Pittsburgh, a little bit in even Hermitage.
Yeah.
We picked up Mohawk.
Yeah, different elementary schools, and we perform the educational show, which is beautifully like music and stuff, but also still teaching you something educational in this sense. It was science and Galileo and the
stars
past, the
and stuff.
stars, things, and being yourself and being comfortable with being who you are. Because
Right,
Gabriella
self,
was very, you know, and then by the end she was, you know, open.
It's very like this, and then all of a sudden she just belts out this
Yeah,
big note
yeah,
in,
so,
in class.
You know, like all musicals.
Yeah.
So then,
Exactly.
spoiler alert, the next year I auditioned again for Gallery of Heroes because it's a yearly thing that they do. And I was cast as a swing that year.
And this was a different show.
Different show, yep.
Incredibly
yeah.
innovative innovators of Pittsburgh. So it was all about Pittsburgh
Yes.
inventions
Yes.
and, you know, steel and things like
And
that.
that was written, music and
And
script by Jason Call.
Who directs almost every, I don't know, I'm pretty sure he still does.
Yeah, he did a lot of them.
But
yeah.
he actually wrote this. He's a
He wrote that,
CMU
yeah.
grad. I mean,
Yes. So it was like cool. And I had worked with him before, so I went and auditioned. And I was given the swing track, which is, if you don't know what a swing is, they learn everything in the show. So there was 2 female roles, so I had to learn both female roles.
right. A little earlier than you expected.
Way earlier than I expected, yes.
She had to go on.
I had to go on.
For the first preview show for the,
Yep.
which was impressive.
So I had to learn the role basically in
Very
less than
impressive.
24 hours. So that was crazy.
And that's.
So that was my first swing experience, and then also my first experience with Love at First Sight.
How did you? And who was that? No, I'm just kidding. So
my boyfriend.
So you were pretty much sitting. I remember you're sitting there, you know, in the audience, like with the director and Nick Mitchell, who was also played Galileo. He was also a swing.
Yes,
For this
yes.
show, so you two both cover. He had to cover 3 boys. You covered
Yes.
2 girls.
Yeah.
And God bless him. For
Yeah.
that. I mean, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
He was. I mean, it was amazing that he was able to do that. So you were sitting there with the director, and what happened?
Well,
We're rehearsing a scene.
they're rehearsing a scene, and Mark was wearing this like blue and yellow flannel.
How much lighter was I? Probably about at least 60
Yeah, but
pounds.
it was coming off of like December, so he was still like a little bit like
It was a little meatier.
winter holiday like meteor.
Oh, okay.
But I like saw him, and I was like, that's the love of my life. Literally just knew
Because
it.
I was just falling, doing slapstick.
Yeah,
with
he
you,
was doing
like a
slapstick.
lunatic.
He was really funny. And I remember Jason Call leaned over to me and was like, I don't know what he's doing, but at least he's doing something. You know,
I was
he's trying.
I was trying. Yeah, it was hard because we had to.
Yeah.
The role that I played was a combined role from the first time they did the show.
Right.
So I had to learn that track in a week.
Yes.
Almost a double track. Or
Yes.
like a track and a half.
Yes.
And I also was passing a kidney stone.
Yes,
at the
that's
time.
true. I remember
I was,
that.
I was
Yeah.
having fevers.
I remember that.
That whole week until I passed it.
Yep. So that's actually how we met.
Yeah.
Doing Gallery of Heroes, which is crazy because that's how Joe DeBensick met his wife too, doing
Gallery
the
of
tour.
Heroes. So there's been
And
multiple
they have a beautiful daughter
married
together.
couples from that show.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because you're literally with somebody all day in a van traveling
Yes.
to different schools
Oh yeah.
for 5 months.
5 a.m. in the morning till like 4 p.m. at night.
But it didn't take long. We were hitting it off kind of early. It was a
Yeah,
little
sure.
shaky. It was a little shaky.
It's a little shit. I was madly in love with him. Basically, I told him, "You will fall in love with me one day," and he was like, "Who are you again?" And then the rest is history. No,
Yeah, and
we
then-
really did hit it off pretty fast after that.
Well, like I really liked you as a person, and I thought
Yeah.
you were beautiful, and I just I just remember what was I gonna say?
I just like still make him forget his
Yeah, I forget my
words.
words.
It's like
Yeah.
crazy, you know.
Oh, because when she came on for the first show,
Yeah.
she wasn't supposed to. One of the girls got sick. Mm-hmm. She had to learn the lines in like a freaking day. I mean,
Yeah.
it was unbelievable.
It was
and,
insane.
and she did it, and she knew more than I did.
Yeah, that's true.
She knew more
That's
than I
not
did.
saying much, but it
Yeah.
was true.
And I remember telling you like you did a really nice job.
Yeah, and I was like,
Yeah.
I like saved that text. I was like, "Wah."
Yeah.
You know,
And,
all
yeah,
that
was
fun
it.
stuff.
And then like we would be in the van, you know. So it was like a regular like big van. It said CLO.
Yeah.
Nick Mitchell drove it. Like we did
Yeah.
all the work. I mean, this was like one of the hardest working gigs
Yes.
to
you drove there. You put up your own set.
Yeah.
You took down your own set.
We had a sound guy. We had two. Our stage manager was in the show, Daryl Whitney.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Daryl.
Daryl.
Who, also played Caiaphas with Ted Neely on tour.
No big
So he
deal.
had experience on tour. And here he was.
Yeah. Not the same.
For a couple years, I think he was on tour with Ted Neely, the Jesus and Jesus Christ Superstar, like the original. He did his last tour with him with his low brass bass voice. But yeah, so he was stage manager. We had to put up our own sets. We had Billy Rossi was our sound guy.
Yes.
And you and Nick were the swings, and then there was like 4 of us actors, 4 or 2 girls, and another or 4
Me,
four
Marlene,
characters.
Hillary, Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny Luoma and Marlene, who's now doing stand up in
yeah,
Texas.
She's great.
Yeah, she's always been hilarious.
She's always been
great,
amazing.
I don't want to say she has like an alternative sense of humor, but it's interesting. Like
she's like you can't look away from her when you see her.
And she's
You're
cute and like
it's just like you're
she's a great
star,
person.
That kind of thing.
Yeah,
so it's cool
she
to
has
watch
an
her
it factor
find
for sure.
watch her find her niche, and to like guide her on the being an adult playing a child.
Yeah,
I got to do that.
Yeah,
with
you
her.
were kind of like her big sister.
Yeah,
for a while.
so that was fun.
But yeah, we'd be in that van, and I remember like after a while you just get comfortable doing this show because you've done it.
Oh yeah.
You end up performing it like 100 times.
Easily. Yeah.
So. You're just kind of chilling in the van, and like I remember being like, "Who wants to go see a movie with me?" Like
I was like,
everybody was silent, and I wanted you to.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was all part of the
That's good
approach.
To know.
So we went to see The Witch.
Yeah, we did.
And that was the start of the fact that we both love horror movies.
Yes.
And stuff, and
we're big Halloween people. Yeah.
So much so that I've been in some horror
movies.
B horror movies and stuff like that, and we've been involved, Fright Night and things like that. But so that was a great time. I mean, lots of memories from that. Everything happened really fast. We got to know each other rather quickly.
Yes.
And
why is that?
Well, we were with each other all the time.
Yes. Well, and
really
also
were.
because we did end up having our daughter.
Yeah, so
Cagney, very soon
within
after.
a couple months, you ended up being pregnant.
With Cagney Rose, yeah.
I have no clue how it happened.
Me neither. I have not, still to this day, I have no idea.
But
which was, at the time...
I always said Nick hit the brakes on the van and I fell on top of it, and there's Cagney.
Which, at the time, was a little bit like earth-shaking to the both of us because we were kind of just
we were only
picking up.
24, and we also probably had the mentality of 18-year-olds. I mean, we're actors, we look incredibly young.
Yeah.
So much so that the whole process, like the nurses thought, I think you were like 16 and pregnant.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
You were 23. So.
And it was like, it was crazy because we were just kind of becoming like making a name for ourselves, I guess.
Yeah.
In Pittsburgh,
We were really trying.
We were trying, and that kind of like was like, whoa.
Whoa.
You know.
Literally, like where we felt we were rising.
Yeah.
And in a very competitive. I thought it was
a very competitive time.
I thought so. I mean, we had a lot of. There's so much talent.
So much.
I don't know. Like I feel like it's still there's a lot of people that we remember I don't think do it anymore or taking hiatuses. I'm starting to see some of those people come back and it's nice to see, but I'm like some people really took a break after COVID, but that's created some new theaters and stuff. There's so much theater going on right now everywhere, so like go see a show in your local area or drive like you don't even have, you drive 10 minutes you can go see a live show. But yeah, so that happened, and we had to take a step back and kind of adjust.
Kind of like reevaluate everything.
We did. You did a few things while you were.
I did.
pregnant.
Yes.
And obviously, we finished out the
tour.
The tour.
Yeah, and then we did Assassins at Stage 62 directed by Nick Mitchell. I can't believe I shot a prop gun pregnant with Cagney.
Yeah, what a cast, though.
Oh,
Assassins.
my gosh.
If you've never seen Assassins, it's Sondheim. It's the only Stephen Sondheim book that he wrote that he's like, I would never change a thing.
Yeah,
He thinks it's perfect. And it's obviously like, it doesn't glorify the people that had assassinated
No.
or attempted to assassinate presidents
No.
and government. But it does show them in an interesting light that makes you, you know,
Yeah, like question your like empathy and your like,
yeah, exactly.
you know,
Like,
what
it
was
gives
going
you-
on?
And that's where, so Nick, who was also in the show, so we were in that. That was a big audition. There was tons of people that came out
Yes.
for that, but he wanted to pick the weirdest to play parts, so
Yeah.
we both got in.
Both got in.
I was Zangara, and you
Yes,
were,
I was Squeaky
Squeaky
Frome.
Frome, and she was
Charlie Manson's
tremendous.
like, lover.
I mean, oh my gosh. I mean, you were a couple months pregnant at
Yes,
the time?
I was like puking backstage, and the show must go on, baby.
And then you'd come on and be like, oh,
Huh?
all nuts.
Yeah.
With, alongside Stephanie Audie.
Oh yeah, Stephanie Audie, she was the best.
And you got to sing Unworthy of Your Love.
I am unworthy of your love. Yeah, with
with,
Corwin Stoddard, who
Corwin.
also went to Point Park with me. Yep,
A very talented actor.
yep.
Yeah, it was interesting, though, because Stephanie Audie is from Youngstown. She actually reviewed, she used to be a critic for the Vindy, a very nice critic.
Yeah.
I think she's a very nice person.
Yeah.
I always thought, I mean, she was fair. She wasn't, like, over the top nice or anything, but she was also, like, a big star in Youngstown. She played Belle so well that the guy said she should have been on Broadway.
I
with
believe it.
And, yeah, and then she happened to move to the Pittsburgh area,
Yeah.
and it was kind of like I kind of knew her because she had reviewed Rent when I was in
Yeah.
Rent at 19. So and it was kind of cool because like and then she became good friends with Nick, and we all ended up singing at Nick and Gemma's
that's
wedding.
right, yeah.
Who Gemma's stage manager for years at PMP.
Yes, yeah.
They actually had their wedding in New Mexico, so we went down for the weekend.
Yes.
I loved it. I
Me too.
absolutely loved the
The
desert.
green chilies and the desert.
And
It was just amazing.
the resort was beautiful, and
Yeah, we were at the Assassin's table.
yeah, he had
Which sounds weird,
tables.
but
yeah,
it
we
was-
were in they gave us our own
Yeah.
table, but it got reviewed by like 4 papers, and it was glory review.
It was, yeah, it had
Very
great
good
reviews.
reviews. To the point where it sold so well the second weekend.
Yeah.
I think that helped. I would imagine. But I mean, the cast was
Solid.
very powerful. John
Amazing.
Wilkes Booth was
Stanley Graham.
Stanley Graham.
Rob James.
Rob James.
Was in it.
Yep, Rob James was the Santa Claus.
Yeah.
What's his name? Yeah. But yeah, it was, oh my gosh, what an experience that
Yeah,
was. So we
yeah.
got to do some, some really heavy theater
Yeah.
before I was in Superstar in between
Mm-hmm.
that. Like we were doing shows, so we were doing the run of Gallery of Heroes,
Right.
and then we would go do shows
Yeah.
at night.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we were working all
We
the
were
time,
working hard,
you know,
yeah.
But we love it, so.
Yeah,
Made it
absolutely.
easy.
And we, and then I mean, I would say like I significantly took a break after Cagney was born for
Yeah.
a while, you know.
Yeah.
And then you got to do a ton of shows, and we got to watch, which was awesome.
Well, I didn't do a ton. I did about. I don't want to sound like I was always.
no,
in show.
but, like,
I
a
did
good
about
amount.
One, I did. I
One a
still,
year,
It was
maybe.
hard for. I still was like really like, man. I was going for it. Like
Yeah.
really wanted to
Yeah.
make it and it was hard. Like having
hard
a baby
adjusting,
like out of
yeah.
nowhere. Like I always expected to be an uncle first.
Yeah.
Like it was
Yes.
a surprise. It wasn't.
It was hard adjusting for sure. It was crazy because you had imagined this entire life for yourself
Mm-hmm.
and your path, and then this happens, and I mean, obviously, it's the right one.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we
wouldn't,
went
I
with-
wouldn't
we-
go.
yeah.
I wouldn't take it back. I mean, she's the greatest blessing in the world. But it was a big adjustment.
And she
yeah.
loves theater
and
too.
she loves
and
theater,
dancing
yeah,
and
dancing.
we named her after
We named her, yeah.
James Cagney, and
Yeah,
she
we named her Cagney.
dances just like James Cagney. And,
Yep, maybe better.
And has a gangster personality
She
like James
really
Cagney
does.
portrays
Yeah, I would not mess
on
with
film.
her.
She's a tough kid. And,
She's a tough kid.
very strong, very, very good person to so many people. I mean,
Yeah.
8 years later, she's gonna be 8 in December.
I know.
And,
it's crazy.
It's been an amazing journey
Yeah.
of learning and life lessons and
Yeah.
and everything.
And to be honest, like I took a pretty long break after she was born, and I was kind of like content with being like just Cassie or just Cagney's mom, or just Vera's mom.
Because you said you always wanted to
I always
be,
wanted to be a mom. Yeah,
before
I knew
performing.
that even like before I was.
Right.
I kind of knew this. I wanted to be on Broadway, but I knew that it wasn't. the life I wanted, because I wanted kids and I wanted a life and a family and, you know, all that stuff. So, but truly watching her get involved in theater
Yeah.
and dance and all that stuff has reawoken my love for it. So I got to go back into the theater a little bit. We did White Christmas together. We got to star in that together.
Cagney got to star the year
Before,
prior
yes.
in Seussical with me when I
yeah.
played Horton the elephant. She was my baby elephant at the end, so we got to share that moment on stage. So it was very
special,
very real.
Full
to
circle.
get to experience that with your daughter. Like I got to. Real emotions were
Yeah,
coming from
for
me
sure.
from that show, and then it got even better the following year when we did White Christmas, and she got to come out at the end, and we started alongside each other in the Bob Wallace and Betty roles, originally played by in the movie by
Rosemary Clooney
and Crosby.
Crosby, yes.
I can't think right now.
Not Bill Crosby.
No, not Crosby.
No, who?
Wait, why am I blanking right now?
I don't know.
Whatever, but
You know what we mean,
Yeah,
guys.
it was
Come
Bing
on, if
Crosby.
you're watching this,
It was
you're
Bing
theater
Crosby,
people.
Yeah. I'm like second guessing. I'm like,
But so that
Como?
that
Yeah, that's Bing Crosby.
that reawoken my love for it. I got to star in the show alongside of you, and it reawoken like my spirit of like teaching and seeing people.
and it was great because so many people love White
Yeah,
Christmas, the
it
movie,
was
so they got to come
amazing.
see the musical, which is slightly different, but it doesn't take.
No,
I think
it
it's
just
better in some
enhances
ways.
it,
The
yeah.
music's good. There's
Storyline.
I got to sing Blue Skies.
Yeah,
And there's,
I got to sing "Love You Didn't Do Right by Me."
and Love and the Weather was that even in?
Sisters.
Love and the Weather wasn't in the original.
No.
But they still had stuff like Counting Your Blessings from
Yeah.
the original and things like that. But people I don't even think notice that it's much different because it's so well constructed.
Right. But at the same time, like watching her do that and doing all that has not only taken me back to the stage, but has also made me want to start teaching again. So I'm teaching voice lessons now and acting lessons, and I have a bunch of really great students that I'm really lucky to have. And sometimes I have like imposter syndrome where I'm like, what am I doing here? Are you even like,
Yeah.
where's your degree?
You started your business not too long ago.
Yeah, and it's doing really well. And if you're interested, or if anyone's interested, get a hold of me before I have this baby.
Yeah. Yes.
But
Yeah.
but it's amazing how like
You got a lot of clients. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people, a lot of kids, a lot of from all ages, boys and girls.
Yep. All ages, yeah. And it's amazing how we kind of thought like, oh, having a baby would stop theater like in our lives, and it really it didn't. It made it more
Yeah, I mean it's
special
been,
and
I
more
think
beautiful.
We're at a point now where it's been more important to us than ever.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because we're not doing it to make a living. We're just doing it to help
'Cause
the
we love it.
community and help others, and
Yep.
And we freaking love it.
We love it. We do.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
theater nerds.
Yeah,
what are you gonna do? I mean, we are.
We stay up all night watching
Watching
videos
Tonys
sometimes,
and
Tony
stuff.
Awards and different performances.
Yeah, and
on
I
YouTube.
mean, it's crazy because when I left Point Park, I did feel I had lost the love for it that I so strongly had in high school. It was like the love of my life, And
why is that though? What do you think made you kind of
well,
lose it? Lose that? You had a little bit of. You were jaded a little bit.
yeah, I was a little jaded. Yeah, I was.
'Cause
I'm not gonna lie.
It was show business.
It was yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, and show business isn't easy.
No, it's not
It's
easy.
not for the
It's
faint of
not.
heart. We've both had our moments where we
I'm done,
It
yeah.
shows you all kinds. It brings out all kinds of emotions at times.
Oh,
because,
the worst in you, and the best, but also the worst.
Well,
Sometimes.
you figure you're surrounded by people
Yeah.
that like to be the center of attention or like to be in control,
Mm-hmm.
and they're some of the most creative and talented and amazing people to
Yeah.
be around. They're great to have parties
Yes,
with.
they're
They're great
vibrant,
to,
lively.
Yeah, and just to do a show with them, it's amazing. But at the same time, everyone's dramatic.
Oh yeah. Yes.
So there's a lot of drama
It's
that comes with
exhausting.
it too.
Yeah.
And that can make it hard.
Yeah.
But and there's still moments like that at times. But it's just we're in a great place. I mean,
Yeah.
Von Hudsbath has given us a lot of opportunities because with his connections in the area that we've been able to reach out. We got to do a little performance of Seussical
Yeah.
for the Seuss Week at the town mall, and we did all kinds of. I mean, we did the Pride Run. We did that, and we've done a lot of stuff outreach, just try to get people aware of the Newcastle Playhouse and live theater. Because I mean, from what I hear, like a lot of people still don't realize like that the Playhouse is even open. Like,
Yeah.
there are people like that. I mean, granted, like we sell out certain shows, like nothing.
Yeah.
People in the outskirts, like maybe in Laurel and maybe more of the rural, deeper areas of Lawrence County. Sometimes aren't as aware until they might have a kid that shows interest in theater or something like that. So we hope that like this show, Take a Bow, and things like that, and our outreach helps us broaden the knowledge and broaden the awareness that we have live theater in the area.
Yes.
And that we're.
And there's nothing like it.
Yeah, there's nothing like it. And
There isn't,
There's
you
really,
know?
some great talent in Newcastle and Youngstown.
Yeah.
And
We're lucky.
we are lucky. I mean,
Yeah.
Michael Moritz is from Youngstown. I mean, and he's doing beautiful right now. And Mike Cavalier came back from a small hiatus, but well needed for him.
I know, I'm so jealous I'm pregnant.
And we're
I can't be
doing
in it.
Spelling Bee,
Yep.
which is a
I'm so
hilarious,
jealous.
hilarious musical. If you like watching the Spelling Bee on ESPN or whatever, and like you have to see it.
It's going to be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
The cast
and
is incredible.
The characters are just so fun. Like,
Yeah.
like I get to play a kid, and like
Yeah, I mean, that's the best.
I mean-
Who doesn't like playing?
Yeah.
Kids are the best.
I think it's harder to play adults sometimes.
Absolutely.
Like I gotta be like serious.
Yeah, yeah. Bob Wallace was way too serious for you. You're
Bob
like, this
Wallace.
is.
Oh, luckily
I
I
don't
got
like
to
this.
pretend I was a girl for a second or
Yeah.
something to do something silly.
But yeah, it was nice to like be able to reflect on my past a little bit. I think you're very known here in this community.
I mean, at this point, I work for the school district and
Yeah,
everything. So,
and you've been, you know, a member of the Playhouse for 15 years. You know, I've transitioned from being called like Horton's wife to like, oh, that's KASSIE, you know, which is
rather quickly.
which is pretty cool.
Yes.
But it was nice to be able to sit down and talk because I don't think many people know my past and history.
Right.
And sometimes it is hard to just like be looked at as someone's mom or like someone's wife. So it's nice to sit down and go over like your past and
Well, because we got to do How to Succeed in Business before COVID,
Yeah,
2018,
yeah.
where you did play Smitty, which was a big part, but she was in a wig, and that's the picture that I chose for the thing.
yeah. Thanks,
Well,
Mark.
Well, every other one kept cutting off, so
No, it's all right.
off the
It's
thing.
okay.
So we
I'm
had
a
to find one.
character
I was like,
actress.
"Does this one work, Ron?" He's like, "Yeah." So
Thanks,
we
Ron.
made that one. We made that one work, and it shows your.
No, it does. I'm a
your-
character
your
actress
joy.
at heart.
And a lot of people didn't recognize you though because of your wig.
Yeah.
People were like, I remember being after the show, people going, "Is that Smitty? Is that the guy who
Yeah.
plays Smitty?" So then you finally got to do in White Christmas something that was you. You got to
Yeah.
not that you were playing. You got to, you weren't wearing anything crazy to make
Yeah,
yourself
yeah.
like look different or anything. And you also started your business, help with
Yeah.
with vocal coaching, acting coaching, and all that. Audition coaching and things like that. So you really made yourself known. I think a lot of young girls. I said this before. We have a lot of talent here in the teen. A lot of teen
Yes,
talent
yeah.
that is coming up. Lauren Gramsky,
She's amazing.
who's in Spelling Bee with me.
Yeah.
And she was just in. She just had a part in Pearl and SpongeBob.
Yeah.
She's really quite a talent.
Oh yeah,
that's
she's
just getting better every time.
For
and
sure.
I get to watch her process now. She sounds just like the girl from Broadway.
I can't wait.
In the show, so it's pretty
I
amazing.
know, and I'm very proud of all of them, all those girls.
And Connor
and
Proctor, he's in his early 20s, but he got his. Well,
He's still a baby.
He's still a baby. I mean, but he's getting so better
Yeah.
and better.
Yeah.
He's a star. Alex Hazen, great character
Yes.
actor. He's also. I'm naming everybody in Spelling Bee, but they're also big parts of our community.
yeah.
But
And then you talked to Allison Hood and Holly Marshall.
Holly Marshall, who
who are
obviously
epic and amazing.
have done
Yeah.
carried quite a load of roles over the last 5-10 years or so.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're blessed here. We really are.
Yeah, we got a nice little thing going, and
Yeah.
we're hoping to keep expanding. So like I didn't know I could sing until I went and auditioned in 11th grade, and like I accidentally sang an octave too high for the part.
There you go.
And oh, he can play, nicely, and it was full voice. I wasn't doing like a weird falsetto thing or anything.
The rest is history.
Yeah, and it's like sometimes you just don't know, like
Yeah.
that you're capable.
Yeah. So go, that's the moral of it, right? Go out, try,
Right.
do it.
Do
Go
it.
search for something. Be
and
brave.
even if you can't sing, do a play.
Yeah, do a play.
Do a
Be
straight play.
brave.
Mostly anybody can act, I think.
Anyone can sing too. Come take lessons with me.
Yeah.
Okay, you
KASSIE
can sing.
Will, yeah.
You can sing. You can. I think everyone can sing.
Uh,
Well,
but yeah, there's more
More
hope for some
can.
people than you would think.
yes.
Absolutely.
But go out and do it.
Yeah.
Be brave. Get out there. Be silly. Dance in a coconut bra, like Mark, with your stomach hanging out.
Yeah.
Do it. That's.
Let yourself go.
Yeah, it brought us joy in the beginning. That's why we got into it, right? And then it brought us together and gave us this beautiful life and our beautiful daughters who love theater and belt Annie soundtrack in the car all the time. Hey, Hopper Man! So
Yeah, they're very show tune babies.
they are, and it's just in them, and we're lucky, and so I'm just really glad I got to talk to you tonight. It's like a little date night.
I know. I know. This was like
Thanks, Dad, for watching the
Yeah,
girls.
Dad and
Annie Rizzo.
Annie, yeah.
Thanks for
yeah.
watching the girls.
Gems. They're quite the duo.
Oh, they're the best.
Because
Yeah.
our girls, they're
They're
lot.
tough. No, yeah, they're tough.
But,
They're theater kids.
I hope if this left everybody with anything, just go out and try something different.
Yeah.
Go. You'll be surprised at what you can do.
Yes. And who knows, you might find your soulmate in musical theater.
Yeah, we're just a good friend.
Yeah.
We're both.
Well, thanks for having me on, Marky.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure.
Okay.
Have a great night, everyone. Thank you for tuning in.
Fee, 5-4, nothing to a giant, waited my turn, call it perfect time and trust the most high, got the stars aligning, I was tapped in, I've been strategizing, dreams coming true, I've been fantasizing while you criticize, pay attention to the signs, symbolize, feel like a legend, they go idolized, ayy, I'm a hero, wear my cape, independent leader made a way, I'm the people's voice, your people rate, stuck to my pace, the turtle win the race, the trophies on trophies, views from the townscape, changes great freight, then I had to skate. God told me time to go elevate, chosen child, I'm the champ now, not a feather